How's it going, ladies and gents? Reverend Saint back again with some more Call of Duty Black Ops 3 gameplay for you guys, playing some more hardcore domination with the XR2. Now, this was like the game where like I start off really freaking terrible for you guys, and then the second round I get my streaks and they go off and I just start doing awesome. I get in this crazy good spawn kill situation where I'm just annihilating people for a good like 20-30 seconds, man. So hope you guys enjoy the gameplay in the background. I normally suck with this gun, but this is kind of like the game where I started to get used to it and started to figure out how to play it. I would always play it like an M8 and I shouldn't have been doing that. So I started playing it more like a Shiva, and that's when I started doing a lot better. So I'm working on this gun, working on trying to get like best class setup for it and stuff like that, working on getting a goal, gotta get all the headshots and all that. But be on the lookout for a best class setup for this gun in the near future. I dropped an 80 bomb in this game. I want to say it's 82, but it might be 80 flat. I can't remember. I think it's like 23 deaths. I do die kind of a lot, but still really solid game. Over a 3.0 KD. I know that 20, 40, 68. Yeah, okay, so it's like 23 deaths or 26 deaths or something like that. So I hope you guys enjoy that in the background. It was definitely a fun game. It was frustrating at first, and then we were down by a lot at the end of this first round. We brought it back in a second when you guys will see. Crazy good gameplay. I hope you guys enjoy that going on in the background. Now, what I want to talk about today isn't exactly Call of Duty related, but it is at the same time because I think Call of Duty should have won something this year, and that's like the first time I've ever actually said that. And maybe not, I don't want to say yes, and I don't want to say no, that it shouldn't have. I'd say it's a tie with Halo, but we'll get into that here in a second. But the Game Awards happen. My Game of the Year won. If it's not your Game of the Year, you need to play it, because obviously you haven't played it if it's not your Game of the Year, or if you just don't like RPGs in general. If you think Fallout 4 should have won, you need to go play Witcher. I've played both. I haven't beaten Fallout 4, but I've played both. And The Witcher is leaps and bounds ahead of Fallout 4 as far as how good of a game it is. The story in it, the acting, the writing, the gameplay, the graphics, and literally everything in the game is just top notch, man. I've never played a game like this. It's people, even people last night that they interviewed were saying it is the best RPG ever made. It is. It legitimately is. If you were to sit there and play the entire thing, it's so good. Maybe the first 10 hours you're like, okay, this is really good, but it's not like the best game ever. After that, you keep going, it draws you in even more, and it gets better and better as it goes on. It's like, it took me like 120 hours to beat. Anyway, that was my Game of the Year. It won. They also won Best Developer of the Year, CD Projekt Red, the people who made it, which I didn't expect, actually. I was expecting Kojima or Bethesda to win that. But no, it was CD Projekt Red. I was pretty happy about that. Best independent game was Rocket League. I can agree with that. Don't care about the mobile games or anything like that. Best art direction was Ori and the Blind Forest. Now, Metal Gear and Bloodborne, Batman Arkham Knight, and The Witcher 3 were all up there. Those are all AAA titles, and then Ori and the Blind Forest was an indie game. What the fudge? That one? Yeah, if you've seen that game is freaking beautiful, man. It was no doubt in my mind that would have won. The only thing I think could have possibly taken it is either Witcher or Bloodborne, just because their settings are so they're way different, but they're all really good for what they're supposed to be. They're great. Best soundtrack, Metal Gear Solid 5. Surprised. Expected Halo 5 to win, or Witcher 3. Witcher 3 has an amazing soundtrack as well. In fact, it's my ringtone. But it didn't, actually. I was very surprised that Metal Gear took that. They do have great music in the game, but it's not something that really stood out to me with Metal Gear. So I don't know. That was just me. Best performance was Viva Seifert for Her Story, which is an indie game, which is a weird indie game with like real-time video and stuff like that. Not into it. Didn't really like what I saw of it, but I guess it was really good. She beat out Mark freaking Hamill as a Joker in Arkham Knight, man. Come on, dude. Like, seriously. I think he should have won. I didn't even play Arkham Knight. I can just tell, man, just by seeing trailers and stuff like that. Best shooter. This is the controversial one. This one and best multiplayer actually legitimately pissed me off. This game won both best shooter and best multiplayer. Splatoon. What? Freaking Splatoon? Are you serious? Like, what? It beat out Call of Duty, it beat out Destiny, it beat out Halo 5, and it beat out Star Wars. All of them superior shooters to Splatoon. Yes, Splatoon is a fun game. Yes, lots of people liked it. But it doesn't beat out, for maybe best multiplayer I can understand, because hey, it's the most fun multiplayer shooter. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. But as far as best shooter, you have to be, for best shooter, you have to take in consideration everything in the game. How well does it work? How accessible is it? How good is the story in the single player? How many modes are in it? How much content can you expect in the game? It's basically a mini Game of the Year award for that genre, and they picked Splatoon over Halo freaking 5, which was, in my opinion, the closest thing to a perfect first-person shooter you can get. The game is extremely balanced, and it also has a non-competitive mode like Warzone that is extremely fun, that is extremely accessible. It also has a great story, bad for Halo, good compared to everything else. It's better than Call of Duty story, I will say that for sure. I mean, you can't, it's a Halo game. Yeah, it's the Halo 2 of the new series, but it's still better than majority of other shooters' campaigns. How does that not win? Or Call of Duty, which is the best Call of Duty to date, in my opinion, so far. How does that not win? I would have accepted any other game besides Splatoon. Like, how does that even compete? How did that even get nominated, in my opinion? Like, I just don't get it. But whatever. I guess they had to throw Nintendo a bone, right? But then they won Best Multiplayer. I'm like, that beat Halo 5, and that beat freaking Call of Duty, man. No, that's garbage. Like, seriously. That was the first thing they announced, was Best Multiplayer and Best Shooter. And they're like, Splatoon. I'm like, well, it's going to be one of these award shows, isn't it? Isn't it? And it actually was. It was pretty good. The performances they had actually from the music artists were pretty good. They had, wow, what was their name? Churches, I think is their name. They're from Germany. They're pretty good, to be honest. And normally when they have a band like that show up at the Game Awards or something like that, I'm like, God, and they're usually pretty bad or annoying or whatever. But they're actually pretty good. And then they had deadmau5 hop up, which deadmau5 isn't for everybody. deadmau5 is extremely kind of repetitive, but what he was doing, I don't know if anyone noticed this, it was kind of a collaboration of all classic game music. I don't know if you guys realize that. That's why I thought it was really freaking cool. And not to mention, deadmau5 is the dude, man. That dude is hilarious and the most chill guy I've ever seen. Like, go follow him on Instagram. You'll see what I'm talking about. The dude's hilarious. Best role-playing game, though, after all this garbage that happened, was The Witcher 3. It took them forever to announce that. Like, they didn't announce it last night. They didn't announce it this morning. I was looking for it forever, and I just found it as I pulled these up. Witcher 3, obviously, Game of the Year. Obviously, it's going to win Best Role-Playing Game. It should be Best Role-Playing Game of the Century. Okay, maybe not the century, but of recent years, yeah, the only game that I can think of that almost comes close to this game is Mass Effect 2, and if you guys know me, that was my favorite game of all time until Witcher 3 came out this year, and I played it. So yeah, best action-adventure game was Metal Gear Solid 5. I can agree with that for sure. It was up against Assassin's Creed, Batman, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and Ori and the Blind Forest, but Metal Gear Solid 5, as far as action-adventure, it just has it, dude. That game is a great game. I haven't beaten it yet, but I've put a lot of time into it, probably 20-30 hours so far. And it's definitely up there, man. It's definitely one of my favorite. It is my favorite Metal Gear game. Like, I never really got into the Metal Gear games. I played through some of them just because I knew Metal Gear 5 was, or Solid 5 was coming out, and I was like, I gotta play these other ones to play that. Like, I just want to. So I did. I didn't get through all of them, but I was just kind of, they just, I don't know. I just wasn't into it. And then this one came out, and I'm super into it. So it's really good. If you haven't played that, check it out too. Let's see, best sports racing game. This one surprised me. They didn't have Need for Speed up there or anything like that. This is sports game and racing games, by the way. They had FIFA 16 up there. Forza Motorsport 6 was up there as well, and Pro Evolution Soccer and NBA 2K16 and Rocket League. Guess what won? Rocket League. That surprised me. I guess it makes sense because it is a sports racing game. That's the only game that actually fits both categories. Maybe that's why they picked it. I know Rocket League's a ton of fun as well, so I can understand why it won, and it was super popular. But I just find it funny how it fits. It actually fits both of those genres for what it is. It's to me, it's hilarious. Best multiplayer, like I said, Splatoon is garbage. It was even up against Rocket League for best multiplayer. How, dude? How? How does it win? I just don't get it. Most anticipated game was No Man's Sky, which I don't agree with. I don't think too many people are too anticipated. Like, I'm excited for it. I think it looks cool, and I know a lot of people are so excited for it. But I wouldn't say it's the most anticipated game because it's been talked about for so long now. Kind of like The Division, man. Division's been around. It's not even on here anymore. Last year it was on here for most anticipated, and it's just been taking forever. I don't think No Man's Sky is going to be what they said it's going to be, because it's taken them so long, dude. Like, and so long to even show anything new. Like, I don't know. Quantum Break's on there, which they showed a little bit more of that. I'm actually pretty excited about that game as far as story goes. I'm a big fan. I can't remember his name. The actor, I like him a lot. He played Iceman and X-Men and all that. I'm a big fan of his. I think he's a great actor, and I think that he's going to do a great job in the game and the show. And from what a lot of people who've seen like clips of the show are saying, it's actually really good. Like, it's not cheesy. It's actually really well done. So I'm definitely interested in that game when that finally comes out. That was like, I was announced when the Xbox One was announced, or possibly even before. Like, hello, come out already, man. Then The Last Guardian's up there, and Uncharted 4 is up there, which I'm pretty excited about as well. And then Esports Player of the Year was Kenny S. Shroob, Counter-Strike Global Offensive. He's on Team Envy. What? I couldn't believe he won. I honestly couldn't. Up against freaking Sumail from Evil Geniuses in Dota 2, PPD from Evil Geniuses in Dota 2. How do you beat those two guys? Like, I watched the International, dude. The $6 million Echo Slam was possibly the coolest thing I've ever seen in esports ever. People love those guys. I just don't get how they won. Now, here's a shocker to me, and I'm happy it was a shocker. Esports Team of the Year was freaking Optic Gaming, and they were up against Evil Geniuses, Fnatic, and Team Solo Mid. Now, SK Telecom's up there, and I'm like, why is SK Telecom up there? Like, that's a team that I just recently heard about, so obviously they weren't going to win. But I was surprised. I knew Optic was trying. I know Hex made a video talking about how they really want to win it, not for themselves, but for Call of Duty. And what he said when he received the award just proved that, just how he said, like, this is a win for Call of Duty in general, and I thought it was great. So they won. Trendy Gamer's Greg Miller, not a fan, but I'm glad it wasn't Total Biscuit because he's kind of a jerk. Anyway, that's going to be the video, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. What was your game of the year? I'd love to know, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.